Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are now listening to That Infernal Noise podcast, part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Fuck yeah.
Speaking from my own experience,
Yeah.
the problem could never be with me. It always had to be somebody else.
Like you personally?
Yeah, like it was never
Oh,
a
when you.
shortcoming on my behalf. It was somebody else. Well, you're not. You're just. Da, 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 da.
You are
I'm
specifically
talking about me
you
specifically and how I
prior
reacted.
to. Oh! Interesting.
So, I mean, I think I have an interesting perspective on that because I have been that guy that was adverse to change and growth and all of that. I really was. You know that. I mean, you know that better than fucking anybody.
Yeah.
That's how I could see through the bullshit so easily. And I could see whenever people are displacing,
Projecting.
projection is the easiest one because that was my go-to. I projected fucking on everything. If I was cheating on somebody, I was projecting that they were cheating. Or what are you doing? Or like there was mistrust.
If you were doing it, let me go through your phone. Let me go through your shit.
Yeah, and I realized that last night whenever we were watching that Shits and Gigs episode. We were just like, I did that. I did that. I did that. Whenever they were talking about the toxic shit. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying I was perfect in every relationship. Yes, I have cheated in the past.
No, I was just a toxic asshole at times.
But I always felt bad and said something.
See,
and I never.
The longer I did it, the less I cared about that.
That's scary.
And it would be like trip of conscience occasionally. But
it would be like you shake the fog of whatever you're going through.
It's like the way I liken it to now, like looking back, is how I would get depressed and have all the anxiety or whatever, and you're trying to shake it out. Be like, why are you thinking that? Like, da 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 da. It was that quick with it, where it'd be like, oh, I should tell.
Oh wait, no, I shouldn't.
Like, no, that's
a dumb idea.
Like, what?
Oh wait, yeah. You're right. That is a dumb idea.
And it was just that quick. I mean, that was my poison, was the cheating mainly, because I never really hid. Well, not from my ex-wife, but like drugs and shit, I didn't really hide from anybody. I just didn't talk about it. Like, I thought it was fucking obvious, personally, before, whenever I was like a teenager.
Yeah,
and that was before I met Mandy. So.
Yeah, and obviously that means that was way before you met me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So.
Because I never hid my drinking. I never hid, like, smoking cigarettes or whatever.
Yeah.
I never hid my drug use per se. I wasn't exactly forthright about it, so I guess you could say that. Because, like, there's certain people that had no clue that I was around, that had no clue what I was doing. Like, Money had an idea, only because me and Kev were hanging out all the fucking time. But Kev was the only one that knew, like, everything.
Knew.
Yeah, because he and I were the drug buddies or whatever, which that's a whole nother thing.
So
turn your vibrate off, please.
yes. Yeah, fuck it. It's on the ground. So at what point do you think you stopped?
I don't know if you ever really stop. Like, I'm not manipulative and shit now. Well, I mean, I probably am. I don't know.
Not for evil.
Well, I mean, that's debatable. Like, if people being ignorant to certain things, like, and I don't mean like they're ignorant. I mean, they are ignorant to certain conversations and whatnot. Like, I do kind of feel guilty in those situations. Does that make sense? Do you know? Do you get what I'm talking about?
I do. Basically, like if you're just for like in just modern terms, if you're getting tea from someone else and that you have tea that you're not supposed to have the tea.
Well, essentially, but
and
that's
then
not exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's just like. I'm trying to figure out a way because
there are
where it's not like blatantly obvious, but like, okay, just in general, I'm a flirty dude.
Okay, yeah,
and I probably cross boundaries here and there.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean by that.
Oh,
and not, you know what I mean? Like it's not common knowledge necessarily. And I don't necessarily feel bad about it, but I do sort of, I guess. I don't know.
But there's also like personal dynamics and there's the
And I'm not privy to any of shit like that. So I understand that, but that's why I say like there may still be like that in there. 'Cause that's sort of a manipulation and, well, not a manipulation necessarily, but everything's not on the table. Put it that way.
With who?
Other sides.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay. So you say you get it.
Like you wouldn't want to be looked at.
No, I don't care how I'm looked at.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm just worried about fucking shit up for other people.
Okay.
Realistically.
Yeah, that's where. Sorry. You can edit this.
No, that's why I said it in such general terms. I just wanted to make sure you got it, though. Like you knew what I was talking about.
You're not purposefully doing shit.
But it's a bad read. Like it looks scummy as fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, to be fair, it looks like a scummy read from my side too.
I'm not arguing that. But just in general, like shit like that I worry about.
I do too.
Because that's still like, I don't know, I guess showing
that you still have that.
Yeah.
Part
And
of
like
you.
I don't mean anything, like I'm not trying to be scummy, but
Yeah.
I could see how it is scummy.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I just like big upping people.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
and I worry.
I'm here to boost people's confidence and whatnot.
And I worry about it not because
You worry about it for different reasons.
Yeah. I worry about it because
Changing dynamics and shit like that.
Yeah, and I don't. You know me. I don't.
And even just talking about it with my wife is like, what the fuck? Like,
whatever. We have a different understanding of each other. A very, very different understanding of each other. From what I've noticed, like
I try not to hide shit from you.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of
there are certain things that I refrain from saying because I know.
Yeah.
And that's so fucked up, given the shit I do say out loud. I'm just saying.
Okay, so that's not. Thank you for that insight, but that's not exactly where I was going with that question.
No. So I just snitched on myself for no goddamn reason.
A little bit, but that's okay. No, that's okay. Because from anyone on the outside looking in, they're going to have their judgments and they're going to have the way they look at our dynamic, which is fine. Whatever. But I know that you're not, there's no malice behind what you do. There's
no malice behind what you do.
No, I mean,
it's just the way it sounds. Like, I don't know hearing it. I get it. I'm not arguing that you're right in what you're saying. It just sounds really fucking bad.
I just know that it's playful and not it's not secretive. It's not It's not secretive to me.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like you're doing something to hurt me.
I'm a flirty dude. Like,
And I'm a flirty gal.
Like
it
sucks because it's just like I don't know the line sometimes. Well, most of the fucking time I don't know the line.
Yeah.
And I'm just afraid of constantly overstepping boundaries.
That's fair.
Because I mean we're very liberal.
Yes.
I guess whenever it comes to things of a sexual nature.
Well, yeah.
But
that's okay.
We have a lot more experience under our belt with some crazy shit than most people. Well, than
anybody.
Damn near anybody I fucking know.
Yeah.
So,
but, okay. I'm switching gears.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. It's not anything bad. Okay, so... So since you have shifted in a lot of ways, and while you don't project anything like that anymore of like well, what are you doing? And because we are just very more open about certain things, and I don't get offended or my feelings hurt about things that I'm not saying all females or partners or whatever get upset about, but there are some women or partners out there that feel some kind of way about certain things that I just don't care about as much. You know? Well, because I'm usually the one like looking with you, or you know what I mean? Because I have my own interest, you know? Like I have my own identity and my own,
which you didn't even really know until
because there was
I let you let it out, or helped you let it out, or whatever. I don't know. Which sounds scummy in and of itself. And I'm like, well, I'm just saying, like. And that's how I always feel about shit like that.
And I can understand that. I can understand because it's a fine line to walk. But it is a line that can be walked. With the right person, people, whatever circumstances.
Because I just try to be like as sexually open as possible.
And that comes with a lot of open and honest communication and transparency.
Yeah, we are transparent.
Ha 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 ha. We are.
Because, okay, like the conversations we always have, I don't understand.
Oh, excuse me.
The guy mindset, that alpha douchebag bullshit, where it's like, oh, she's mine and da 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 da. Like, I don't look at shit like that, or the conversations we have about, oh, well, if you sleep with 3 dudes in a year, you're a whore. But if a guy sleeps with 10 in a year, he's a
man.
Fucking pimp.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never really looked at it like that. I don't care how seasoned a chick is. I prefer the more experienced ones just because I enjoy that, because I don't have to spend my time teaching you. We could just do fun shit together and...
Because and I've said this so many times, and you are in so many ways, especially now that you aren't who you were. It's a different dynamic.
And I was never really like that. It was just more...
Hurt people.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, because you were...
Because I've always thought in that fashion, where it's like, it's not a big deal. Like, honestly, I don't care if the chick I'm with has sex with other people. It depends on the relationship dynamic.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna discuss, what our relationship has been or is like currently, because shit has shifted throughout the
drastically
past 12 years.
Yeah.
And maybe one day we can talk about that, but
you're not comfortable being open about
I'm
all of that shit to a certain extent.
To the public.
Yeah, because it's not really anybody's business.
No, it's not. It's like religion.
Yeah.
Keep that shit to yourself. Like, it's a me and you thing, because I have to mentally keep it that way, because
of the outward perception.
And I'm trying my hardest to not let the outside world dictate what I feel is right and what I'm comfortable with and what I feel like is acceptable in my world. So now that, how is it shifted your mindset from being a serial cheater and using those manipulation tactics of, I'm not doing anything, you're doing something. Let me see your shit. How does that affect the mindset now that you're like, I don't have to hide what I'm thinking. I don't have to hide these thoughts that someone else may find.
There is still a little that I keep close to the vest because I know that certain things are going to be a hot button for you. And it's not like anything nefarious necessarily. It's just
those are thoughts, and people need to realize that thought processes or thoughts in general don't equate. Stop it, Ez. Stop. Go sit down. That thoughts don't equal action.
But there's been certain actions too.
Oh, that's fair.
That's what I'm getting at. And
okay.
I know where my head's at with it, but
yeah.
I have a problem reconciling how it's viewed.
Okay.
Because I know certain situations that we've been in, it creates an emotional, visceral reaction for you.
Yes.
And I don't have that same reaction. I see it more as, I don't want to say perfunctory because it's not a perfunctory thing, but I see it more as like kink or shit like that.
Okay.
As opposed, and it's not, I don't take it as anything serious.
Got it.
But your perception of it could be completely different.
Yeah. And that's where.
And it has been.
Yeah.
So.
And that's where the open line of communication and just communication in general of not taking things as an attack.
I sound like even more of a scumbag after this one. Jesus.
Wait. We can stop.
No. But see, that's the thing, is like, I don't mind being open sexually. I just know how
other people
it's viewed outwardly. And I don't want to put that on you because I don't give a fuck. You know, I'm an open book.
Yeah.
And it makes
a lot of people uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, what does it matter?
I'm not saying it matters. I just don't want you to be uncomfortable because I know that wasn't always my policy. I would just talk and say shit and it would make you uncomfortable because you're just like, well, what the fuck? Like, that's our life. Da, da, da. And it's like, I don't think of it in a negative way, or I don't have the hang-ups about it.
Because you're a man, and that has a lot to do with it. And I
really don't think it does.
It does. Only because you are a man. And I think that's the only reason.
No, but there's a lot of dudes out there that refuse to talk about shit like that. Like, the way that, how open and honest Gabriel and I have been about certain shit.
Yeah.
It's just
No. I'm not saying that all men. I'm talking about you.
Well, okay. I guess I'm speaking about my experience. Mm-hmm. And my experience is different because the people I grew up around were more geared towards my mentality. Yeah. Where sex and everything can be a casual thing. Yeah. And that just like something fun to do as opposed to
that is more acceptable for males than it is for females. And you weren't.
But see, I grew up around a lot of chicks like that too.
And I agree. But there's a certain level of, and I hate to say this word, but mental damage when a younger female is so cavalier about it.
It's emotional more so, I think.
I don't think
it's a mental thing. I think it's an emotional thing. Like, they're not emotionally mature enough to see that I shouldn't be.
It's all part and parcel. You have to be able to mentally process your emotions.
Emotional.
No, that's fair.
It's a lack of emotional intelligence more so than a lack of mental intelligence.
Yeah. But by and large, females were brought up like me. And that was a bunch of projection as well.
I was about to say, because our parents' generation were hoes, but they were undercover hoes. Mm-hmm. Like, they try to keep it from everybody as much as possible. And I don't necessarily like the snowflake culture now, but it has created a lane for like people that are polyamorous or people that are bisexual or whatever
they choose.
They're able to be open and honest about it and not feel shame because of their kinks or what they're into.
Preferences.
Just preferences in general, not even necessarily kinks.
And that's by and large, it's no one else's business. And that's been the thing.
But I think that stigma kind of needs to go away too, because that still creates the I need to hide this part of myself.
No, and I don't mean it as in you need to hide it. I mean,
but I'm saying like that. I could see how the logic is followed there.
That's fair, but it is no one's business. Like, and I say that about marriage. Like, I don't understand how same-sex couples are still having issues getting married. It's still persecution. Like, it is maddening to me because it's no one's fucking business.
Well, they point to the Old Testament typically with shit like that, which
okay, then
the whole dogma
your,
shifted into the New Testament, but everybody ignores
Jesus
that shift.
Christ died for your sins on the cross. He washed your body, or you were bathed in his blood. Wash away your sins. I get it. And that's what people don't understand, is that Leviticus, Old Testament, that's the old shit.
That's the fire and brimstone shit. That's
bum, 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 row, you bastards. Sorry.
Not saying that Sodom and Gomorrah was doing everything correctly. I'm not arguing that. And I'm not saying that it should be that. But between consenting adults and everybody's
no one else
in the know, and it's not a manipulation, it's not anything like that.
It's no one else's business. What difference does it fucking make? What that agreement is, or what that contract is between those two people, or 3, 5, 7, who cares? It is none of my business.
That's a bit excessive.
In the grand scheme of things, if somebody wants to have an orgy,
it's hard to maintain one. An orgy is different than having multiple relationships.
People in Utah do it all fucking time. Not all Utah people.
And how fucking crazy do we think those people are?
Fair and valid.
They have 11-year-old kids and then 13-year-old brides.
Okay, that's...
You see my point.
That's criminal.
That's my point, though. Like, and then that creates the whole other argument. Well, where do you draw the line? What's acceptable and what isn't? And that's the part that a lot of people are hung up on, because they're lumping everything together.
Yeah, because there's a difference between a kink, sexual preference, consenting adults.
But the true degenerates that are into illegal shit paint it as that.
As a kink.
Like, no, that's just my kink. That's just what I'm into. It's like, okay, no. There is a line somewhere.
Yes, and it is legalities at that point. Because can that person sign a contract legally?
I have heard people point to the Bible because of that. And just like, well, it was like, yeah, they were also only living to fucking 25. That's not the exact same scenario, motherfucker.
Again, times are changing.
And like, I don't know. I don't know. There's so many quandaries that I have about shit like that, and like hang-ups, sort of, where it's hard to reconcile all of it
because of what it could potentially lead to, or
not what it could lead. Well, I mean, I guess what it could lead to, but.
Do you mean just like an outward perception?
I've always thought of myself as a degenerate, and I've told you and God and everybody that. Like, I'm a degenerate sexually, within reason.
Within legalities, you're not.
But the thing is, people like me get painted with the same paintbrush.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Which is
like
unfair.
A dude can't be sexually open in the way that I am without getting called a bitch, a pussy, a cuck, whatever the fucking situation is.
Whatever.
Which is not accurate.
No.
At all.
No.
But everybody gets painted with the same broad stroke.
Yeah. So
I don't particularly care for that. I feel like this is probably going to piss you off. I feel like I'm closer to a woman in the way that I get shit for things of a sexual nature and how people view me and whatnot. It's not the same thing. I'm not arguing that, but I do feel like I get more shit for that. Like, I get called a whore having the lowest body count.
This is factual, guys.
You've heard it happen. You've seen
factual.
It happen. And it's on a regular basis. And it's just like,
what did I do?
Okay. Just because I have a cavalier attitude.
Was it my outfit? Did I ask for this?
And I mean, just because I'm confident sexually and I'm so confident that
doesn't mean that
literally nothing can shake me in that arena.
Valid.
At this point in my life.
Valid.
Like, I don't understand the hang-ups. I don't understand the projection and like all that shit. Like, if people are doing their own fucking thing, let them do their own thing. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I don't know. No. I don't even know how we got, no pun intended, how we got off on this.
Valid. But now that you don't have to use manipulation tactics, has it helped your mental health in that arena, or has there been more of a detriment because of that?
The hang-ups that I have are a lot less now because of that. Because with you, it's like the first time I've been able to be completely open and honest without fear of judgment. Because I've been open and honest in other situations, and then it gets turned around and thrown in my face.
Yeah.
Or gets talked about behind my back type shit, and it's just like, no,
and that's
not acceptable. But that's not a partnership. Like,
no,
I'm not going to use the things that you tell me in confidence that you don't feel comfortable telling anybody else.
Because there are things that I have told you that literally 0 other people have heard. Sorry, Gabby, I love you, but 0 other people have heard. Period.
But that's because I've built up my credit in that aspect, and you know that with all the shit that I've told you, I'm the last person that's going to fucking judge anything.
Right. And that's only because there's a fear, not necessarily that people that I would talk to would judge me.
And it's not like it's fucked up shit.
No.
Quote unquote. It's not the illegal shit that you're talking about.
It's not illegal shit.
Any
Nothing.
Of that.
No.
It's just the fear of judgment.
Yes.
Like, it's a fear of people saying, oh, well, what the fuck?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
And it's not anything. And that's the thing. Like, everybody's hung up on what is acceptable in that arena. Who the fuck made that decision?
As long as the way I feel is that if it's consenting adults who are not doing any harm to anyone else,
unless they ask for it.
Unless, like, and I do mean that because there's BDSM, there's
a fine line with you whenever it comes to that shit.
Look here, sir.
I'm calling it like I see it.
There are some things I am comfortable talking about, and that is one of them. But yeah, like, rough me up a bit. But then there are extreme situations where that might be triggering for some people who have been a part of domestic violence and things like that.
That's understandable as well.
So I do agree that.
But that's the conversation that we were having last night. Whenever we were listening to all of that shit, I am of the opinion that, okay, first off, if I'm dating somebody, we're not trying to figure out if we're going to have sex. Okay? And that's just my opinion. If you meet somebody and you agree to go out on a date with them, you see the potential to bed them. Because you're not...
I agree with that.
You're not falling in love at that moment. As rosy as you want to paint that picture, that's not what it is. It is a fucking physical sexual attraction. That is happening right now.
And there have been, like, how many times have you heard, like, if a woman knows that
within the first 3 seconds or whatever it is, that you're going to sleep with a dude,
or if it's a possibility,
if you would consider it, or whatever, however you want to phrase it,
if it's even on the table at all.
Yes,
because I've met people and it's just like, oh, you dry me up more than the worst cotton mouth I've ever had in my whole life. Like, oh, sandy vagina. Like, I get it. But then there are people where you're like, oh, I could see, okay, that this person is, okay, good looking, has a personality, that isn't a wet mop, doesn't have that creepy energy vibe going.
That's the thing that I worry about the most, because I'm constantly, my entire life, afraid that I come across as creepy whenever I'm, like, flirty or whatever.
I see what you're talking about being maybe a line stepper to a certain degree.
But see, the thing is, I know where my line is,
And your line is way further out.
It's like, it's a dot in the fucking ocean compared to most people's.
But I would like to, and from my side and from my perspective, you don't give off the creepy vibe.
Well, that's a plus at least.
It may get to a point where you're like, okay, maybe you could
bring it back just a little bit, please.
Can you curb it a little bit? Little bit. But other than that, it's not a creepy vibe because people are comfortable to start little jokes with you in general. And if you had the creepy vibe, those little jokes and the little ha ha he he wouldn't even fucking happen. Because
I never really looked at it like that.
As women, the whole, would you pick a man that you don't know or a bear? And all of us are fucking picking the goddamn bear. That's for a reason.
Well, I'm both. I'm a man and a bear, so.
Don't say that too loud. You'll be going to get some calls. Hey, bear. And then you'd be like, man, do I want to answer this?
No, I don't. I told you the other day, it's like, I'm not into dudes or what the fuck ever. I'm not gonna ever say never because I don't know what fucking bullshit's gonna come up in my fucking head. You don't know what
tomorrow brings.
I don't. And like younger, I would have never admitted that out loud.
Oh, of course not.
It'd have been like, oh, fuck that. I could never,
who knows?
I'm one bad decision away from experimenting in that fashion. Like
today is a no, but tomorrow might be a maybe. Who knows?
You don't know.
Yes.
You don't know. And
can't rule anything out.
I'm not ruling anything out at this point.
Only Sith dealing absolutes. Don't be a Sith.
Sidebar, shouldn't they be like openly gay or like bisexual or pan or something, you would think?
Sith?
But they seem very
heterosexual?
And
not homosexual, heterosexual.
And monogamous on top of that. Like,
yes, it's very.
If I was a Sith Lord, I'm fucking.
It's a rule of two.
I'm fucking everybody. Like, fuck a Jedi mind trick. I don't need that shit. Like, I'd just be like, hey, I'm like, oh, and that's it. I'm fucking everybody.
Want to see my saber?
Well, that's a given. Like, I'm not. I don't hide that.
You better hide your saber. Now that you've, because I know that a lot of manipulation tactics, and especially in a sexual avenue, and, or like when it came to like cheating or like doing nefarious shit.
I never manipulated the women involved. Does that make sense? Like, it was that part was always above board. I was never like, oh, well, I see this happening and I'm going to leave my wife and da-da-da. Like, I'm not doing all that unless I actually meant it.
Yes. It's not like everyone knew
the damn
what
deal.
It was.
You knew the damn deal. Like, it's going to sound fucked up, but most of the women knew, actually, all of them knew my ex-wife. Every single one of them. It's just what it was. They knew.
They knew their role.
And, well, I'm not getting into all that other
yeah,
shit,
let's not do that one. Because
What?
I know some of them. And I know, like...
You know all but...
Two?
Two of them. Well, one of them.
Two.
Oh, no, three. There's three, because you didn't know the... Okay, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it is three. Sorry. Anyway. I just made myself...
I'm real glad you don't fucking judge me for that shit.
No, because, okay, but, like... Okay.
Because it was just, like, honestly, it goes back to the whole thing. Like, it was just fun stuff. Like, it was bucket list shit, and I saw the opportunity to take it. Why the fuck wouldn't I? You know what I mean?
And...
I've lived a rock star life, and I've never been a musician.
And what also other people fail to realize is that more people were privy to what you were doing and were
down.
So it
like
was
a motherfucker. Apparently, it was just like, oh, he's so like.
But like,
and I've never understood that.
And I mean, like, and I can't say fully who I'm talking about. But like, it was. Okay. It was just okay for everyone, a lot of people involved. It was just okay. It was cool. It was agreed upon. It was okay.
I see what you're saying. In some situations were just
some were not
whatsoever,
but
and
some
I'll
were.
freely admit that. Not proud of it, just what it was.
And if anybody wants to put pieces together, whatever. And if you think you have the puzzle correct, you probably don't. But if you do, it is what it is.
You might. Who knows?
Who knows? But so now that you have less to be hung up about, and you don't have to use tactics like that, because I am one of the least judgmental people when it comes to anything, really.
But especially stuff like that.
Yeah, because who am I to fucking judge you? Like, I've made mistakes too.
Yeah, but see, I don't...
No,
outside of the cheating aspect, I don't consider any of it a mistake. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But we've all made decisions, and we've all made decisions that people are going to look at differently. And they're going to have their own perception of it because they already have a mindset and a thought process that's already set. Like, I was raised by a woman who projected a lot of things onto me.
Be one of these fast-ass girls.
You don't want to be one of those fast-ass girls. Why were you telling me not to be a fast-ass girl? You got experience in being a fast-ass girl? Please tell me. Anyway, so I was, for females like me, when it came to sex and when it came to my body, and like even my mother was like, why, you can wear a shirt that's a little more low cut than that. But then she was the one shaming me for anything.
Being a fast ass girl. Even
like, you're not going to be,
weren't.
I was not. I was terrified.
That was later.
I'm a serial monogamous. In high school, I was with the same guy for most of high school, most of 4 years. And then I was the one who got dumped, and I was the one who
got cheated on,
and got cheated on, and I was the one who heard the manipulation tactics, not from you, but from other people, and well, not
in that fashion.
Not in that fashion. And I'm the other side of it, but I have still made shitty decisions. You know, I still chose to take those people back. I still, spent the night with an ex when I was with someone else in high school. And then obviously immediately I break up with the person I was with in high school and say, okay. And then I got back with my ex because I'm stupid, or I was stupid. I was married before, I drunkenly kissed someone and then waited 3 months to say something about it, So, I mean, I'm not perfect. And while my choices may not have been on a level of other people's, yours or whoever, anyone else, literally, who am I to fucking judge? I can't. Because it's still not okay what I did. It's still not okay that I waited. Just because you did something in a different fashion or with a different person or a different act doesn't make it any better. Doesn't make it any worse.
Well, I think people would disagree with that.
And I see that there are levels, and I'm not saying there aren't levels. It's not just, there are shades of gray, and I get that. But ultimately, I cannot judge because I've done shitty things. I've done things to make other people not feel the best. And so while I have my own feelings, and I'm allowed to have my own feelings about things that have been done to me or said to me or whatever, I can't really judge you for who you were. Because you're no... Me.
Okay.
Me.
It's not...
Because fuck everyone else. To be honest, like... If you're listening, I love you and thank you for listening. But when it comes down to my choices and what I allow and what I've accepted in my life and my boundaries and what I'm okay with, but that's how I have to look at it because that's what it is. You're not essaying anyone. You're not
God, no.
beating anyone. You're not taking advantage of underage anyone. And you even had a problem with me being 2 years. And I met you in my 20s. It's not like we even met
It was
when
just
we were
a weird thing to me. Like,
you even had a problem
even
with
now,
me.
it's still like kind of off because everybody
I'm
else is like
almost
40. I understand that. It's just one of those things in my head.
So I don't judge because I've experienced life. I popped out of a fucking crazy straw of a woman who lied to me for years. And I'm not talking like a handful of years. I'm talking 35,
plus, yeah.
35 and 1 week until I got confirmation. Scientific.
The fact that you know exactly when I'm not, it's not funny, but it's funny.
Oh, it may be funny, but is it factual?
I'm not arguing any of that. It's just, it's one of those
and if
comedy and tragedy things.
And of course, people are going to have their feelings about what I'm about to say. Just because I forgive someone does not mean I have to fucking deal with your bullshit. I don't. Sorry. If I can forgive, accept, process, have a whole fucking identity crisis. This woman caused a whole identity crisis because she lied to me about who I was for 35 years. If I can let that fucking shit go and realize that person made a shitty decision in any kind of capacity, who am I to judge someone who didn't figure out that they were hurting on the inside and why they were hurting on the inside? And they used women as an escape, as a vice. That just like any kind of other alcoholic or drug addict. Because are you shamed in that capacity? No, people try to help you, have interventions. They have facilities. And yes, they do have facilities for sex addicts and stuff like that. But who am I to judge a
9 times
person?
out of 10, that just starts with everybody fucking each other. I've heard stories. That's all I'm saying.
I have not, because that's not a realm that I ever...
I've looked into it. I've looked into it because I felt like I was. And I mean, I probably am. If I'm being real and honest with myself, I probably am a sex addict, but...
In some capacity, maybe.
But...
You're not...
The way that certain things have shook out recently really put a mirror up to everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like...
And then you have choices to make. Because that's... I mean, all addiction is choices. Because, yes, you have the mindset, and most addicts that I know claim that they will always be an addict.
Oh, yeah. No.
Now, the superlative to that, like, are you... not superlative.
Caveat.
Yeah, like, now what are...
Which addict are you?
Are you a recovering addict? Are you an active addict? Are you, you know, what, where...
Occasional.
Okay, like...
Occasional partaking.
Because
whatever.
I do believe that people can... And I'm not saying this about, like, black tar heroin. Do not come for me. But I'm going to use you as an example, if I may. You used to have a problem with alcohol.
What do you mean used to? I still do.
Okay. Let me explain.
That I will admit, I'm always a fucking alcoholic.
Let me explain. You used to have an issue or the inability to stop drinking.
I always had the impulse to do more.
Yes. There was always the, we're getting fucked up. And even if it wasn't.
No, that's what we would say all the fucking time.
Even
it's
if
like,
it wasn't like, oh, we're going to have some drinks. We're going to just hang out.
If we're drinking, we're going to get fucked up. Like, that's why people wanted to hang out with us, because we were the party people.
Yes,
and
this is very true.
Everybody came around, thought they could fucking outdrink everybody.
And then they got like, around us.
And got around the people we were around. It's just like, no, we've been, like, I personally was an alcoholic from, well, I started my drinking problem at 15.
And I started drinking.
And I did not stop drinking until what? 33? like actively balls to the wall drinking. I've had drinks since
When
then.
did they get married? What year?
I want to say it was 7 years ago.
Okay.
So 33.
Okay.
15 to 33. That's almost 20 fucking years of having a drinking problem. Most of it, well, not most of it, but the front half of it, I was not legal for.
Yeah.
And I didn't have rules. I didn't, like, there wasn't anything. I was just living in that every
because
day.
you could. And I started drinking, like I said, when I was 13. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 15. Started buying them for myself when I was 15.
I don't remember when I started buying them myself, but I started smoking, I think, at like 11.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, I forget that you started smoking way before I did.
Yeah, I'm not proud of that one either. Because that one's still a fucking monkey on my back. Like, I go back and forth whenever I get super stressed out. It's not even, I know it helps me. It's my brain reverting to that younger time, and that's what I did whenever I started freaking the fuck out.
Grab a pack of cigarettes.
Then it turns
That's
into
how
like
we
this
handled everything.
Pavlovian thing where it's just, it sucks, but, and I go back and forth on quitting constantly. Like, I've quit how many times since we've been together? Exactly.
I don't know.
And there were such long stretches in it too.
Yeah.
And then something fucking happens and turns into this big fucking thing, and then I just can't stop because it's the hardest thing I've ever had to quit.
And I've heard that. And I've heard that from a meth addict. That cigarettes are the hardest.
It's not fun. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like shit every time I pick up the pack.
Luckily, after Mom died, I had a couple cigarettes here and there because I've done the same thing, and you know that. But
you never started smoking again since you quit. You've never started actively smoking again. Oh,
I did temporarily.
You did a little bit.
Right around when Chris was graduating, I think that's when I started smoking for. It was a couple months.
It was a couple months, yeah.
It was a couple months.
I forgot about
that. And I've had short bouts with it, but after Grandma, I had a couple.
After Mom, you've had a couple.
After Mom, I've had a couple.
But literally, like, a handful.
But after Mom, it was less than after Grandma. Because I've had maybe 5 cigarettes since Mom died. And I can't do it anymore. Like, my body literally is just like...
But...
And I feel like I want to gag as I'm taking... Like... And I've done everything, like, thus far to stop that shit. So... but yeah, we all do shit like that. And I don't know. I have a hard time with judgment.
I'm thankful for that because otherwise I'd be that asshole that's like hiding smoking from his wife and shit.
Or like you have to go eat cupcakes in the car or something like that.
Like I never wanted to be that guy.
Yeah.
And it got close because I thought about, when was it? I had done something and I was coming back and I bought a pack of cigarettes. And
you ended up texting me.
Yeah, and I thought for a little bit, like, well, maybe I won't tell her. And I was like, no, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. I can't start hiding shit now because if I do, things are just gonna...
You did tell me, but it was already, like, after you smoked a cigarette, and I'm not...
Yeah, but it was, like, hours, not days. Well, not even hours. It was
it was, you bought one, you had already smoked it, and then you called me. You're like, I wanted to let you know... I bought a pack of cigarettes. I'm not doing good. Okay, babe. You're a grown-ass fucking man.
Yeah, but
I'm not
better decisions than that.
And I get it. But that's the thing, is that... Again, I struggle with judgment because... I've had so many fucked up things happen to me. And now being on the side of after therapy, after really dealing with myself, really dealing with what I've been through.
The shit that you've put other people through.
Yeah.
Because it's all part and parcel.
It is.
It gives you additional perspective.
Yeah. The bad decisions I've made, the good decisions I've made, the foul shit I allowed happen to me, you know, like the way I let people treat me, the way
All of it.
all of it, like
It's part and parcel.
because those aren't good decisions either. Just because I'm being kind and nice and okay and agreeable, fuck being agreeable. God damn it. I don't think I'll ever be agreeable to be agreeable.
Don't say that.
I don't think I'll ever be agreeable to just be agreeable, to smooth things over. Like, I'm not being agreeable to make people feel better and avoid their bullshit. That I won't do anymore. I can't. I feel that disrupts my own shit so bad. So fucking bad.
Because it's one thing to try to keep the peace. It's another thing to go against what is going on inside your body to keep everybody else happy. That's not the same thing.
If I feel like I have to stifle in an integral part of my essence, if I have to disrupt, if I feel yucky keeping the peace, I'm not going to keep the peace. I'm not going to...
You're not going to burn it down either.
Exactly, and that's what people fail to realize, is that you can...
Do no harm, but take no shit.
Yeah. I can be assertive and confident and hold my boundaries while still being respectful and not a cunt. Two things can be true. I can say, you know what...
But everything's so cut and dry with everybody now. It's just like, it's
that's
one
not,
or the other. And if you're not doing this, you are doing that. Like, that's...
And that is something else I'm having to let go of. And, like, release and not worry about, because I can't worry about that. Because then that goes back into just me people pleasing. If I worry about how I'm going to be perceived in every situation, especially in a fucking situation where I'm trying to help, then whoever is twisting me to be whatever it is they're twisting me to be, I can't help it. I can't. But I'm not going to be agreeable just to be agreeable. No. Anyway, sorry. Ugh. Gross. I'm not here to judge anyone. It's not my job. I was given a lot of jobs that were not meant for me. I was given the job of parent when I was a child. I had to be a parent to my mother.
And you were given the job of being a parent.
I was given the job of being an adult as a child. I was cooking for myself, cleaning for myself, taking care of myself, watching out for myself at the age of 7. I have a story where my mother was spun out of her fucking head in the back room of a house. So I had to make myself a can of chili for lunch. And her grandfather, piping hot chili, smacked it all over me. Because he could. I've been through shit. I haven't been through... Obviously, there are always going to be things that are worse. Case, I get it. And I don't say these things...
As to, like, look at me.
Oh, look. Yeah. I've been through shit. I'm not the victim
what
here.
A lot of people do.
I'm not the victim, but these are factual things that happen. And just because I say them out loud doesn't mean I'm playing a victim. I'm telling my story. Now, what did I do with that? I make it my personal goal in life to be understanding, to see where people are coming from, to help as much as I can, to not be a judgmental person, to be a safe space for people. And the fucking thing is I've been told so. I've been told I am someone's safe space. I've been told that I'm an unproblematic friend. And guess what, bitches? Yeah, I am. I've worked my whole fucking life to be that. Mm-hmm. So who am I to sit here? Everything I've experienced, everything that I've done, good, bad, indifferent, whatever. Who am I to judge you? Or anyone else? I can get frustrated with people. Goddamn right I will. I think
you have gotten frustrated with me more so than just about anybody.
Yeah. Because there were times where I just wanted to fucking shake you and thump you in your eyeball. Be, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get it together for me, at least. For the kids, at least. For something. If you don't give a shit about yourself in this moment, fine, don't do it for you. Whatever. But fucking fine, do it for Yoda. I don't give a shit who you do it for, just do it.
Luke.
Okay, do it for Luke. I don't care. But at the end of the day, whether I'm angry, hurt, whatever, I can still be frustrated and still be non-judgmental and still be there to help. I can be more than one thing. And I will never judge you. Ever. Because you're one of the few people who has never judged me. In places that I thought that I was going to be judged in. And that I have been judged in prior to.
It's your butt, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. No. The reason we are or ended up in the mental capacity that we were given is all of the manipulation tactics that we initially started out talking about at the beginning. Sorry, guys. We do our own thing.
That's what we did that, and then it went to addiction, and then it was like, oh, fuck. Where were we?
I don't know. But the manipulation tactics, that's how we got here. I've said this a few times. I might have said this recently about the Lily Reinhart thing, about our energies. You know, she believes that, and it's very in line of what I believe, that, you know, wherever we come from, I'll just call it source, whatever. We chose to be here. We chose it.
And that's not a lot different than the Christian beliefs.
Agreed.
They believe that
everything's
we're
predetermined
with
and
God, and that we decide to incarnate at a certain time.
And then you live your life and you go back to God.
Yeah.
And
it's essentially the same thing. We
Except,
just call it different shit.
Yes, I just call it different things.
Yeah.
So the reason why I think I was put here, why I chose to come here, obviously to try to help as many people as I can. Because I feel that
should be the overall goal regardless.
I do think that, but me specifically, I just think
there's certain people that were put here especially to do that.
I think I've been through the things I've been through in order to prepare me to be someone who can
help.
I
believe that too. That's what I told you whenever I was going through all the shit with Mom. Yeah. Like, it dawned on me. Like,
it dawned on me too.
Where it's just like, that's why you went through everything you went through, so you could help me through this.
Yeah.
It sounds grandiose or whatever, like it's putting it all on me.
No.
Like you went through all this suffering for me. Like,
no, but you meant it as
it gave you the capacity and the ability to be able to handle the shit that I was going through.
Not necessarily for you specifically, it just happened to be for you specifically. The manipulation tactics, the negative mindsets, the avoidance, the displacement,
projection.
The lack of accountability of our ancestors has been passed on.
I do think generational trauma is a real thing.
It is. It's proven. It's factual. It's in our DNA.
But that
it's
also
on a
means
scientific
if it can
level.
be created, that means it can be cleared too. And that's the part
what I'm
that I'm
here
focused
for.
on.
Yes, that's why I'm here. I'm here to take ancestral pain, suffering, trauma, and it stops with me. It may not have stopped as soon as I was born because I had to learn. I always knew that there was a different way of doing things. But I had to learn and I had to find out myself because I was a child. And I'm trying. And it does stop with me because I will never, ever, ever, ever choose to put my children through what I went through. Because it is a choice. At some point, at any point, my mother could have done things differently. Could have said, this makes me feel disgusting on the inside. This
I
doesn't
should
make me feel
probably
good
stop.
about myself. And if it didn't make her feel good, if she felt fine with herself, then that's a whole other can of worms.
That's a bigger fucking problem.
Yeah. But there are things that I did like my mother that absolutely make me feel disgusting on the inside. So things stop with me. And again, that goes back to the whole I'm not here to judge, and whatever happens in our life, I think I have good enough credit that you would know that I'm not going to judge you.
Most of the time. Sometimes I get in my own head about it, but
again, that's
overall,
not me.
Yeah, that's not you. That's me.
And
that's just because I've been judged for literally everything my entire life by so many fucking people.
Same.
So I think we're in the same boat on that. And it's just like the last thing I want to do is judge people because I've gotten so much of that in the course of my life.
And one little quick side quest before I wrap this up in a pretty little bow. Just because you're called on your bullshit, that's not the same thing as judgment. That's being called on your bullshit. That's not judgment. That's not projection. That is, these things are
not victimization.
It's not me playing the victim. Yeah. Me calling you on your bullshit is calling you on your bullshit. If you're doing things that if I were to present receipts to other people, and if that doesn't make you stop and be like, ooh, that might not be a good read.
And see, I'm painfully aware of that with myself. It's like, I know.
I just have to say that because there are people out there that are going to be like, oh, well, no.
And yeah, your perception is your perception.
Your perception is
my perception is my perception, and you're not going to tell me that mine's wrong whenever I think yours is wrong, because we're going to be in an impasse with it.
Yes, but
being called, you can't dismiss everybody else's shit,
and then not expect your narrative
and then
about
not
you.
Expect your shit to be dismissed. That's the thing. I understand that my opinions are my own. I understand that my mindset is my own. I don't judge other people for theirs. I don't agree with everybody.
But just because you don't agree doesn't mean equal judgment.
I don't try to fucking stomp all over their bullshit either and immediately tell them, well, you're full of shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're playing the victim. Da-da-da-da. Unless they're playing the fucking victim. That's the only time I do. But yeah, whatever.
So for anyone who is feeling that being called on your bullshit is judgment, it's not. Handle your bullshit. If
you didn't do dumb shit, you wouldn't be called on your bullshit.
Better.
That's the thing, and it's the same thing we've told the kids, and I brought this up 100 fucking times.
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
If you didn't fuck up, you wouldn't have to answer for it. You wouldn't have to worry about anybody calling you on it. You wouldn't. None of that shit.
Have integrity. I've taught my kids have integrity. Do the right thing even when no one is fucking looking at you. That's integrity. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing.
I have not always had integrity.
Fair. I haven't either. Again, that goes back to the whole rest of the episode. We've all made shit decisions at some point. Whatever. But anyway.
This one kind of went all over the place.
It did. But hey, it is what it is. We do our own thing. Anyway. So, again, thank you for listening if you've made it this far.
It's an interesting conversation.
It was an interesting conversation. I liked this one. So, if you are feeling some kind of way.
Leave it.
Sorry, guys. I forgot I had a pen in my hand. God damn it. If you feel like you need someone to talk to, we are here. Reach out. If you feel that
contrary to popular opinion, we actually don't judge people for the shit.
Yes, I just, it is what it is.
Going through it right now.
Yeah, going through it right now. If you feel like you need a professional, we have resources. Please reach out. You are not alone. You're not weak. You're not anything untowards
You're
for
not
asking.
weird. You're not
No.
any of that.
Just ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. Even if I don't know you, ask for help. You can ask me for help. It's okay. You're not alone. Do all the social media things, please. Guys, we're trying to, I know that we've been, we're trying to be more consistent. That's the 2024 goal. More consistency, more content.
The back half of 2024.
Oh, yeah, well. We've been going through some shit, okay, guys? Anyway, do the social media thing. Share. If you feel someone else might benefit from us, send us their way. Any feedback, comments, questions, any topics you want to hear about. If you guys are going through shit and want our opinion or a different viewpoint, just let us know. Feedback helps us. All the social media shit helps us too. So please do that. All right. Until next guy.
You want to try that again?
Words are hard today. I'm sorry, guys. Until next time. Thank you for listening to this week's episode. If you like this episode or know someone who would, please help us grow the show by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Keep up with all episodes on Buzzsprout or anywhere else you get your podcasts.